Good morning, I am Kevin Price. Delighted to be with you, spend some time with you, talking to you about you and your business. Going to spend some time talking to author Robert Kaplan. He's the author of the book, What You're Really Meant to Do, a roadmap for reaching your unique potential. I tell you, I'm big on this. I know I grew up in a household where my dad absolutely hated his job, really hated his bosses. Was a great worker, and he always somehow performed well, but he had, in my opinion, a horrible attitude towards work, and in my opinion, probably should have figured out something else to do, but he was a Great Depression baby, and Great Depression babies were happy to have any kind of work, but I became pretty hell-bent on figuring out something I wanted to do that I enjoyed, and so I've done that most of my adult life, but a lot of people really feel like they should do what they have to do, but we live in a time where innovation should be at an all-time high, and people should really pursue their passion. 2,000 hours a year at doing something you hate just doesn't make sense to me. And I'm sure you agree, Robert Kaplan. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your background.
I'm from Kansas City. My dad was a jewelry salesman, and I went to Harvard Business. I went to Kansas undergraduate and then Harvard Business School, and then worked at Goldman Sachs for 22 years, and then left in '05 to take a leave of absence to be a professor, an instructor at Harvard. And then I wound up staying, became a professor, then senior associate dean, and I've written a couple of books, and have had a dramatic change in my career.
Is that a dramatic change?
Very. And back to what you were saying about your father, society's a little bit different in that it wasn't as politically correct, I guess you'd say, over the last during that era to say, gee, I'm going to change jobs, or I don't like what I'm doing. But the fact of the matter is, even during that period, the great success stories are people who had a passion for what they're doing. Didn't need to be perfect, but they loved what they did, and they had a passion for enough of it that they performed at a high level for a long period of time.
Right, and the goal was a watch, and all the integrity, the gold watch, and all the integrity and dignity and all the things that it implied. And so now we're a little different. We kind of like adding as many experiences. You said you had a dramatic career change. What was that, Robert?
Well, the dramatic change was going from being a leader of an investment banking firm, broker-dealer, to being a professor. It's a dramatic change. But
so when you were a broker-dealer, were you pursuing graduate work, or what we were doing?
No. I was at Goldman Sachs. I was running investment banking and investment management. I was one of probably the top 5 people at the firm, and I was there for 22 years. I ran Asia Pacific. I was a partner of the firm for 15 years. And I decided that maybe I could make a bigger impact on the world doing something else. But normally, it's hard to change when you're at the top of a profession. Normally, the natural inclination is to stay with it, even if you want to do something else, because it's hard to give it up.
Yeah, especially when you got the position that you had. It seems to me that, it'd be very difficult to go into a completely different, quote, industry, and somehow it'd be a lateral move.
Yeah, now what I found is over the years, everyone ultimately has to make a dramatic change. Some make it when they're 65 years old. Some make it sooner, but everybody has to make it. I deal with a lot of CEOs who have since no longer CEO or have retired, and I haven't met anybody at any age who doesn't want to figure out what they want to do next and how to make an impact on the world. So my only view was, I'm going to go through this dramatic change sometime. Might as well do it while I'm young enough to have the energy to do something else. And I was lucky that I was able to do that. But if people think you're going to avoid that, you won't. Everybody goes through it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting. It's funny you should say that, because virtually everyone in particular has to do dramatic changes, 65 or older. I think it's going to get older and older. I don't know about you, but 65 and older, when that's the time they're really least receptive to change.
Yeah, and I got to tell you what I had seen. So I worked with CEOs my entire career and with companies, and I'd seen so many CEOs that were depressed, discouraged, and I couldn't figure it out. These people had got it made. They were the big success stories I looked up to. Why aren't they happier? And what I realized is it's very important while you're busy doing your main profession, volunteer in the community, do other things, because you need to do that, because there's going to come a time where, whether you like it or not, you're going to need to do something else. And a lot of people think, now I'll just focus on my career and I'll do that something else later. You need to start planting the seeds of it while you're young. And what nonprofit and community activities and teaching and other things help people realize, I can do more than just my job. A lot of very successful people don't have a lot of confidence that they can do anything else other than their job.
We're going to have to get you back on because, frankly, we got caught up a lot in your story. But I want people to learn more about the book itself. Kind of give us the elevator speech. What would you tell a person about why they should read what you're really meant to do?
The elevator speech is that everyone, if you think you're struggling, and I bet most of your listeners say, gee, this is just me, my weird thing that I'm struggling. Everybody I've met is struggling in some way. There's a process like you would use to lose weight or get in shape. You reaching your potential is a never-ending process. You got to work at it. This book is a series of actionable steps, not theoretical, action-oriented steps you can take to get yourself in shape to reach your potential. And it's something you need to work at. Start now. Whatever age you are, you need to work at it for the rest of your life. The same way as getting in shape and losing weight, you got to work at for the rest of your life whenever it is you start.
Yeah. By the way, you can find Robert Kaplan at Twitter at Rob S. Kaplan. That's Rob S. Kaplan. You could also go to Google and put in what you're really meant to do, Kaplan, Kaplan, and his book will pop up pretty high up. And I encourage you, I've seen the book, I've read much of it, and I love it, and appreciate you spending time telling us your story today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, Kevin.
You bet. Make sure you check him out there, Rob S. Kaplan there at Twitter. When I come back, much more for you. Do want to remind you, best content here shows up over there at usdailyreview.com. While there, like it on Facebook, follow it on Twitter.